All right, so we're going to get into chapter 7 now, which is service information and work orders. All right, after this chapter, you'll be able to describe the different types of service information, explain the different kinds of information and illustration used in service literature, describe the advantages of an online service information program, understand the use and calculations of shop work orders, and order parts needed for vehicle repair. Right. Service information details how to diagnose and repair vehicles. For each vehicle model, information may include step-by-step procedures, specifications, diagrams, exploded part illustrations, troubleshooting charts. So there's no possible way that you can know every little thing about every vehicle out there. There's thousands and thousands of cars out there on the road, and they are all built differently. Sure, a Nissan Sentra in America is built the same as a Nissan Sentra in Germany or something. But when you look at a Sentra versus a Chevy Cobalt or something, they're different. They have different specifications, different engines, they take different amounts of oil when you're doing the oil changes, things like that. So you have to have some type of literature, some type of information to be able to tell you, what this vehicle details specifically. Right? You have computer-based service information. It's used in most shops, such as CD-ROMs, DVDs, and accessed via internet. Most of the time, it's going to be via internet nowadays. Used to CDs, DVDs, you had to get a new DVD or CD to update it. Now it's going through the internet because you just have to download it through the internet and then download your updates through the internet. Saves a lot of hassle, it's a little bit quicker and things like that. Vehicle manufacturers host databases. This provides dealerships 24/7 online access to accurate and up-to-date diagnostics, repairs, and maintenance information. When I worked at Nissan, at a dealership for Nissan, it was mainly the master techs that would do this if they needed to. I've only seen it done a couple of times, but they would get stumped. They would go through the whole service manual and entire diagnostics and still can't figure out what this vehicle going on with this vehicle. The service information they had a phone number they can call, and a representative for the manufacturer will work out the diagnostic with you and help you solve what the issue is and everything. Right? Online service providers, a few examples are Identifix, Mitchell's, and AllData. Those are your three common ones you're going to see. I've used all three of those. I've used a couple of others that are out there. I really like Identifix. It's really nice. It has a service on it that will help you if you have a problem with the vehicle. You can input what you found your problem to be and how you figured it out. And so other technicians can do that as well. So then when you're trying to diagnose something, you can look up how many people have changed whatever part and how they tested that part to figure it out. And that helps you kind of identify, I should start here because 90% of the people that had this problem changed this part. So I should check this part first. So it saves a little time, makes it a little bit easier and stuff like that. It gives you a little bit more reassurance on your diagnosis and stuff. Many systems generate accurate quotes on mechanical repairs using original equipment parts and industry accepted labor information. Online information can be instantaneously updated. So like I just said earlier, a lot of the stuff they like to use online services because you can update it very quickly. You don't have to wait for a CD-ROM or anything like that to download the information. As well as it makes less trash too, if you think about it. Because if you get a CD for every update every 6 months or a year, that's a lot of CDs you're having to throw away. So that's a lot of plastic that's going to waste. So the internet is really changing a lot of things. All right, service information illustrations. This tells you how to measure part wear, how to install parts, Exploded views, like the picture to the right here on the top, shows you the part taken apart, so you can kind of see how it goes together. Disassembled views, essentially, all this stuff is essential for understanding procedures and specifications. So you can see the pictures to the right, it shows you a lot of information. It shows you the insides, how things work, which way it's turning, things like that to help you understand how it's working. That way it will help you diagnose an issue. If you understand how it works, you can understand why it's not working pretty much. When using diagnostics, and surface information diagrams are used when diagnosing and repairing electrical circuits, vacuum hoses, and hydraulic circuits. This represents how wires, hoses, passages, and parts fit together. So here's an example of a wire diagram right here. This shows you a lot of good information. So if you're having issues, an electrical issues, you can see where the wiring is going, you know, what parts is it going to, where is a switch in it, where is a fuse, things like that. So you can kind of break it down and really understand the engineering of this wiring system to help you diagnose what is wrong with it and what's going on with it, or help you diagnose that it's not that electrical issue. It might be something else as well. So that, you know, helps a lot with that. It takes a lot to really understand wire diagrams and these other diagrams, but it comes with time. We will learn it a little bit in Auto 1 and Auto 2. We'll go into it a little bit here and there as well. All right. Service information abbreviation. So this textbook uses only universally accepted auto abbreviations. So you're not going to have manufacturer specific ones in here. Manufacturer ones, you'll get used to it when you work at a dealership or something, what certain things are called. Sometimes they might call traction control, like, you know, vehicle dynamic control or something like that. So it might be called something else depending on the manufacturer, but you will learn that when you go to whatever dealership you're going to work at, if you're going to work for a manufacturer like that. If you're working somewhere where you're working on a whole bunch of things, you slowly learn all the other ones as well. You kind of get used to it, and it's really not hard to figure out what some of it means. You can always Google it as well. All right, diagnostic charts, also known as troubleshooting charts, used for finding and correcting problems. You have a couple of different types. You have a tree, a block, an illustrated, and a component location. So this is an example of a tree. As you can see, it's just a flow chart. That's all this is. It's nothing more than a flow chart. So we have a horn doesn't work. All right, see if the horn fuse is blown. Yes. Then the fuse is blown and you replace the fuse. If the horn fuse is not blown, you'll go down here, check for 12 volts between horn connector. Yes or no. You have to follow these things very accurately, exactly how it says step by step for you to figure out your diagnosis. If you skip a step, you're not going to find the problem, or you might miss something and miss another problem. You might have two problems. So you have to follow these very strictly with what it says, and not overthink certain things. So if it says you should have 12 volts somewhere and you only have 11 volts or 10 volts, you can't say, oh, well, it's close enough to 12 volts. No, you don't have 10 volt, you don't have 12 volts. So you have to follow it that where it says, no, you don't have that or whatever. Like it says. All right, here's your block diagnostic charts. This one just kind of gives you an idea of what an issue can be. So you can look over here, you have loss of coolant. It gives you your possible causes. So you have to know how to inspect those things. And then whatever you find is over here of how to fix it. Other sources of vehicle information, you do have your owner's manual. Every vehicle should have an owner's manual. If you go buy a used car, and it doesn't have an owner's manual in it before you buy it, tell them you want an owner's manual and they'll go get you one. But every vehicle should have an owner's manual. That's just a little tip there. If you're buying a car or something, just yeah, they're supposed to give you an owner's manual with it. Owner's manuals helps purchasers of the vehicles with basic vehicle information. Very basic information though. How to change fuses, where the fuses are located, what oil to put in your vehicle, things like that. But it's not going to go in very big detail. I don't even think owner's manuals tell you how to change your oil anymore. My old 87 Nissan pickup truck, the owner's manual told you how to do valve glass adjustment and change oil in it. Now, pretty much it just tells you how to change the fuses and what fluid should go in it, and that's about it. I don't think it even tells you, something as simple as an oil change, how to do that anymore. But it is a useful piece of information. It does have useful information in it. Flat rate manuals. This lists flat rate times for repairs. I talked about this before. The manual of flat rate. If you don't know what that is, look it up on Google. Essentially, if a book says it takes 3 hours to change spark plugs in a Corolla, that's what you're going to charge for it. You're going to charge 3 hours. The technician's going to get paid for 3 hours. If it takes you 4 hours to do it, you're still going to get paid for 3 hours because that's what the book says. However, if it only takes you 2 hours, you still get paid for 3 hours. So you see, it can be good, it can be bad. It is what it is if you're working for flat rate. But flat rate manual is what you use to calculate labor times. So if someone comes in, they want the air filter changed on the vehicle, they're going to look up a flat rate manual to see how long it should take to change that air filter so they know how long to charge that customer. Right? Technical bulletins. Technical service bulletins is what it's named. They kind of misprinted it a little bit here. So technical service bulletins, known as TSBs, this helps technicians stay up to date on certain things, certain issues and stuff like that. So TSBs is the number one thing you're going to check. If you have a diagnostic, if you're having issues with a vehicle, check engine light, whatever, we want to look at the TSBs first. TSBs, what it is the manufacturer, Dodge, Toyota, Nissan, Chevrolet, all of them, when they see there is a common issue with this part or whatever, say the ignition coils keep going bad constantly over and over again, they might redesign those coils, or whatever part keeps going bad, they might redesign it, and they'll put these TSBs out there to say, hey, this is a known issue. This happens 99% of the time on the vehicles. This is the part that's failing. This is how you fix it. So TSBs are a handy thing, very handy. And if you work in a dealership and a vehicle is under warranty and there is a TSB related to what you're working on, whether it's causing the problem or not, if it's related to the issue, the warranty will pay for replacing that part with the TSB because they want you to do that so that you can fix a problem they might have later on down the road, and that way the vehicle is more reliable for them and it doesn't put a negative mark on the person. So if the vehicle doesn't start and say the real diagnosis is spark plugs, they needed spark plugs or whatever reason, needed a spark plug. All spark plugs are bad. The vehicle wouldn't start. If there was a TSB that also said the fuel pump will cause a no start issue, usually you can replace that. If it's under warranty at the dealership, you can do that TSB and replace that fuel pump. That'll help you if you're working under flat rate because it'll give you another job to do. It makes the manufacturer look better because their fuel pump's not going to go bad later on because that's a known issue. So Check around though. If you get in the dealership stuff, make sure to ask about that. But when I've worked in dealerships, usually that's how they function. Warranties doesn't mind doing TSBs uh, to prevent something later. All right, online resources. There are several websites available. This provides technician assistance, allows technicians to communicate. International Automotive Technician Network, IATN. This is a platform for automotive technicians around the world to exchange service and repair information. It contains a database of repair information, waveform libraries, component photos, and other useful features. So this is a very handy tool. So you can become a member, join up there. You get to communicate with other technicians. People will put things out there. Hey, I've had these problems constantly. So heads up, you might end up having these problems with these vehicles. This is how I figured it out and fixed it or whatever. Or you can put up there, hey, I've been chasing this problem for 2 days straight and cannot figure it out. I've done the diagnostic flow chart. The master techs can't figure out what is your guys' opinion of what it could be. This is what I've done. What else can I do to help me fix it? So it's very useful with stuff like that. So it helps break things down very easily, or work as a community to help each other out. All right, work orders. These are very important. And I'll tell you why in a second. Work orders are also known as repair orders or shop tickets. A lot of the times they'll be called ROs for short for repair orders. RO, repair order. Get it? All right. These are used to record information about vehicles being serviced. This is initiated by the shop service writer or manager. The customer, it will contain the customer's information, the vehicle's information, written description of the problems or symptoms, and the work authorization. So the school has them, and you can Google them and figure out, see them online as well. But you're going to write the customer's information down on it, how to contact them, what their problem is, check engine light, whatever, any additional information as well. If you're a good service writer, you're going to ask for a bunch of different information. You're going to want to know, when does the problem happen? Not just, oh, they have a problem. When does that problem happen exactly? That way, the technician knows how to recreate that problem so they can see what's going on with it. How long that problem's been going on. Have they had any recent repairs done to the vehicle? Because maybe they had something repaired and it wasn't repaired correctly. Things like that. So it should have a lot of information like that put onto it. Now, it's very important. Work orders are very important because that gives you authorization, one, to allow you to work on their vehicle, and two, authorization to test drive their vehicle, actually. If you have that work order in your possession and you get pulled over by a police officer for a brake light being out or something, that's how you show that you're allowed to drive that vehicle, that you are working on that vehicle for whatever shop you work there, things like that. I tell you that because you can buy a shop uniform off of Amazon pretty easily. You can look like a technician pretty easily. So you pull up, most of the time the cop's probably going to believe that you're working on it because you're probably going to be near the shop anyway. But that car doesn't belong to you. It's not registered to you. Your name's nowhere on that vehicle. So make sure you have that RO on you. Also, if you get in an accident, that RO, like I said, shows that you're allowed to drive that vehicle and stuff like that, because the shop has insurance that's supposed to cover that vehicle within a certain mileage of the shop that you're test driving and stuff. So it's very important. I have been pulled over on test drives before, showed them the RO and stuff like that. Show them, hey, I'm working on this vehicle. This is what's going on. I had to test drive it. And it was not because of my fault. I wasn't speeding or nothing like that. It was this check engine light. They're trying to get their vehicle inspected. They can't get it inspected because the check engine light the vehicle's registration's expired. I fix the check engine light. I have to test drive it, and I get pulled over for the registration being out. So, and I show it to them. Hey, this is what's being done, so they can get the inspection. Officers usually just okay. Have a nice day. One did write me a warning ticket, which was kind of a waste of paper, but whatever. This warning ticket didn't go anywhere from there. So, all right, technicians can use the information on work orders as a starting point. Also record services or repairs completed, list flat rates or actual time of repairs, calculates total labor charges, calculates total parts charges, calculates tax rates, and provides final cost of the repairs. When you do work orders, when it is time to tell the customer what it needs. So the customer came in and said the vehicle was misfiring and running rough. You said it needed spark plugs. You cannot replace those spark plugs until the customer has given you written consent to replace those spark plugs or whatever, do whatever repair. On the service ROs and the work orders, there's a line that they will sign. They will sign that telling you, yes, you can fix that. I agree to pay this price and you can fix it. If you do not get that signature, you cannot charge that customer. So there's laws that protect customers for that. It's to keep shops from ripping people off, sadly. But yeah, there's be sure you get customers to sign off on repairs before you repair it. Not just that. Make sure customers sign off when they refuse work as well. Make sure that if you tell them it has bald tires and that's a safety issue, they sign the RO saying that you explained to them that their tires are bald and that's a safety issue. That way, if they get in an accident later, they cannot blame you because they are well aware of their vehicle's safety. So cover your butt when you're doing stuff like that. All right. VIN numbers. Vehicle identification, also known as a VIN number. These are on your dashboard by the driver, on the driver's side, up on the windshield area, like in the picture there to the right, or it should be somewhere in the door jamb, like in the picture in the left. Sometimes they're on the actual door. I like to go by the one on the dashboard for that. Some vehicles, it's on the door. Someone gets in an accident, they replace the door with the one from the junkyard and have it painted to match the car, and you don't realize that VIN number is different than what should be on the car. Happens sometimes. I've seen it happen a couple of times. But up here, oh, excuse me, you can see VIN numbers have a lot of useful information. No two VIN numbers are the same in the world, okay? That's because it's a serial number. These last little digits here are your serial numbers. Those are vehicle specific. For that one vehicle, that number is what is attached to that vehicle. The rest of it, your first number here is your country of origin. So that tells you where the vehicle is built. Second one is your manufacturer, who built it. A second letter. The third one is your vehicle type. The body type is the third one, or fourth one. Fifth one is your engine, and so on and so forth. You have so many different things. You see where plant that it was manufactured in, what year it was made, things like that. So VIN numbers have a lot of useful information. Just Google VIN decoder, and it will come up where you can type a VIN number, and it will tell you everything you need to know on that VIN. Right. So obtaining repair parts. You must obtain necessary parts to make repairs. Dealerships stock large collection of parts. Independent shops keep commonly used supplies. Less commonly used parts must be ordered from outside suppliers. So that's like Advance Auto Parts, O'Reilly's, Napa, places like that. So independent shops are going to use those parts stores to get their parts. Usually you're going to keep things like hose clamps and little universal things kind of on hand in the shop. The new and rebuilt parts can be ordered by calling a local parts store or warehouse. And if nothing's available at any of those places, you can always call a salvage yard or search the internet to find what you're looking for. So if you have any questions, make sure to message me on Canvas or something. Make sure to check out all the videos for this lesson. Check out the videos for service writing under that playlist. There's, I think, only two, but they're good videos. One explaining VIN numbers, the other explaining how to be a good service writer. So